What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, and welcome to Lactic Acid. I'm your host, Dominique Smith. Today, I have literally one of the GOATs in track and field. He is consistent, and that is an understatement. And I like the fresh cut, man. I like it. I like it a lot.
Thank you.
Out there balling, he is none other than my man, Mr. Erik Sowinski. Erik, appreciate you joining the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. This Iowa heat and humidity, I needed the fresh cut.
Oh man, it's looking sharp, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Listen, I live here, born and raised, still live here in Florida. So anytime that hair gets like above here, then it's just like you're trapping heat in there. So I feel that. So listen, I asked everybody this question starting out, and I've gotten some interesting responses. So I want to ask you the same thing. If Ben and Jerry came to you was like, Erik, man, you've been killing it. You've been out here balling for so many years, 16 U.S. champs. You got a bunch of accolades. So we want to do something for you. We want to make an ice cream promotion centered around you and your greatness. You got to pick the two flavors and the name of the promotion. What would they be?
Ooh. You said two flavors. That's tough. So I grew up in Wisconsin, and it's not big anywhere else, but they have a flavor called Blue Moon, and it's kind of like it's like a Midwest thing, but it's kind of like almost like a Fruit Loop tasting ice cream. And I think that if Ben and Jerry were to do something like that with their quality of ice cream, I think that would be pretty cool. But a name, that's tough. Let me think on this. Let me think of the second flavor though. Second one, I'm a big coffee guy, and I like coffee flavored ice cream. And I know that they do some coffee ones, but they don't do anything with coffee with a bunch of stuff in it. Like I like their ice cream. So maybe like a coffee flavored ice cream with some like Oreo cookies and some chocolate fudge in there or something.
Oh boy. Oh man. Gosh, I know,
because when I do Ben and Jerry's now, like I get like, like the half baked or the Tonight Dough with all the cookie dough and the brownies and all that stuff in it. But I'm a big coffee guy, and I like coffee flavored ice cream. So I feel like if they did something like that with some stuff in there, that could be pretty good.
Wow. I know all the heart doctors and hypertension doctors listening to this are just loving it. They're just loving that. Ooh. Man. A Fruit Loop favorite ice cream. I have.
It's hard to say. So it's really, really unique. You would have to try Blue Moon ice cream to actually know what it tastes like. That's the best description I can give you. But it's a big Midwest thing. Like a lot of the dairies and creameries in Wisconsin, where I grew up, will do a Blue Moon ice cream.
So we actually have. I've seen it. I saw it when I went to the store yesterday. Blue Moon ice cream.
Try it out.
I'm a little nervous now. Fruit Loop flavor ice cream, and so a coffee. So you would be like Dunkin'. So Dunkin' Donuts did something where they had the Girl Scout cookie flavored ice cream. So that's kind of your jam. Okay. I'm not listening because I don't drink coffee, but that is something that I would try. So let's work on this name. What would you name? What would be the name that you would give it?
Ooh, that's tough. The coffee one, I feel like I kind of, drink a lot of caffeine before I prep for races and get ready. So maybe we call it like buzzing. And I kind of, that caffeine, the coffee ice cream, and kind of that feeling I get before stepping on the line. So
I like that.
I think that'd be a good one. Yeah. Ooh, the Blue Moon one though, that's tough.
I will use buzzing for both of them.
Done.
I would use buzzing for both of them. I like that because that coffee gives you a buzz, and the uniqueness of the Blue Moon ice cream kind of gives you a buzz as well. So I'm down with that. I'm down with that. I like that. Erik, man, I was thinking about it. You have Waffle House level consistency on that track. Like, it is the most impressive thing I've ever seen between you, what you're still doing, what Allison Felix is doing, what Shelly Ann Fraser Price is doing. I'm telling you, that is, I was trying to feel like who is the most consistent. And that's what I'm saying. You have Waffle House level consistency because you know what you're going to get from Waffle House. If it is a just national disaster, Waffle House is always going to be serving up them waffles and hash browns and everything else. That is you, brother. I'm telling you. And so you have eclipsed 200 races going under 150. Have you sat back and thought about how insane that statistic is?
Since I hit that, I have. And leading up to that, I'd never really thought about it. But Dave Monty was kind of the one who put this spreadsheet together of all of my races and all of the performances. So just kind of sitting down, looking at it, and just seeing not just the amount of races, but the amount of awesome places that I've been able to travel to kind of do this. I think that, I kind of was able to just take a step back and realize like, hey man, like this is a pretty awesome thing that I've been able to do that not a lot of people get to say. So
what does that mean to you that you've been able to have this level of consistency for so long and to, put yourself in contention to be on these teams?
Honestly, I think it's really just a credit to all the people I've had behind me since I started this journey. I wasn't a highly touted recruit out of high school by any means. I came to Iowa on a 10% scholarship. And I'm still with my college coach. So just having, his support the entire time. And I haven't left Iowa City. I've been here since 2008. So having, that community behind you, and just, I don't need to hesitate to ask if I ever need anything from anyone around here. So I think it's more just a culmination of having that kind of support system that's really just helped me, be consistent because I don't have any worries, when I step on the track or anything off the track, because I know that there's always going to be someone there to help. So that's been pretty cool.
Are they aware of what you've accomplished too? That those, I think it's like 204 races,
something like that.
Yes, 204, 205. I have to go see, but are they aware? And I've heard great things about, Iowa City, and just the people there. But like I said, are they aware of just kind of like what you've accomplished in that realm, being that consistent?
A good amount of them are. It's actually kind of cool. So Mike J, who he announced U.S. Indoor Championships and Outdoor Championships. He announces a ton of meets around the country. So he actually also lives here in Iowa City. So he's got a pretty big social media presence as far as like local athletes and local track and field fans go. And he's been really good to me. It was kind of cool leading up. Like we were trying to decide, hey, it'd be really cool if we were able to run this 200th sub 150 at Drake Stadium at the Drake Relay. Is a place that's been really special to me. So I was actually able to run number 199 here at home in Iowa City. And then the next weekend turned around and was able to do number 200 at Drake in Iowa. So yes, there's a lot of people that, had a pretty good idea going into that. And just having that, home support is always great.
It had to be a fun moment, just having your family there and having everybody in the community show up in such a prestigious stadium. Like I can't.
Yeah, it was really cool. I can't even explain it. It was super special.
Man, why the 800? Why would you sign yourself up for such torture? Like,
so I didn't run it all going into high school. Freshman year of high school, I played soccer. Was like this 5'2", 90-pound kid on the freshman soccer team. Played really well. And then going into sophomore year, I didn't grow at all. Tried out for varsity, and the coach told me I was too small to play varsity soccer. So I had some friends on the cross country team. Went out for cross country as a sophomore, and then the rest just kind of took off from there. At first, the track team really needed like a 300-meter hurdler, so they tried to make me a hurdler, but I didn't really have the flexibility to do that. And so I've always been kind of like a glutton for punishment. When I like basketball, I was a starting point guard for 4 years in high school, and when we would do like suicide drills and that kind of stuff, I was always the one pushing that, just seeing how far I could push my body. So I think that the 800 was kind of just a natural fit, since it's pretty much an all-out sprint from the get-go.
I can see you being like a lethal point guard.
Like I almost played basketball in college, actually.
Wow.
So I didn't run super fast my sophomore, junior years, I'd run like, 158, 159. And so I was looking at some D3 schools and had a couple of D2 offers for basketball. And then track kind of took off late in my senior year, and I decided to go that route. But
man, I could see it. I could see it. Like Iowa has these lethal point guards. I could easily have seen that being you. I'm not even gonna lie. Which one is harder, the 800 or a 400?
The 800 is harder than a 400, but if you were to put hurdles in that 400, then I think that maybe the 400 hurdles.
You see, it feels like the 400 hurdles is about consistency. But that's this interesting debate, because like you just have to get in by not consistency, but it's about rhythm. So it's not saying it makes it any less hard, but I don't know. I hear it from like all sides, because the 800, pretty much is all out, but that 400 is all out. And then the 400 hurdles is rhythm. And then you're trying to catch Sydney McLaughlin. And so maybe from that, standpoint, the 400 hurdles is harder. But I've always been interested to hear from an 800-meter runner. It's to see which one is harder.
See, I loved like the 4x4s in college, and like that was something I always looked forward to, was like getting the baton and doing a 400. But so my coach was a professional 400-meter hurdler for like 12 years. He was a world silver medalist in Paris, and also ran some 800s. But I've seen some of the workouts he put those 400-meter hurdlers through since I'm there at the track with them every day, and I'm like, man, I could not imagine having to do this.
Nah, what's the hardest workout he's put you through?
Maybe like my second or third year out of college, we did 400s with 5 minutes rest. And the goal was to hit 51 to 52 seconds for all 4 of them. And I got through the first 3, and it was one of those days where it was like hot and super sunny. And like, I was hurting so bad that like the lines on the track were like hurting my eyes. So I threw my sunglasses on. So nobody could see how much I was hurting going into the last rep.
That sounds awful. With 5 minutes rest.
Yeah, 400s.
Oh, God, what is that? About 75%? Oh, man. Yeah. I don't envy you, man. That's awful. That's awful. You also, I'm trying to think. So you've done everything. You've won a world championship medal. You were American record holder, world record holder, and then you anchored a 4x1. And now here's the thing. I mean, honestly, I don't know why they didn't put you in a relay pool this year. Because maybe you could have solved some of the problems that we've had. So pretty much you've hit like the trifecta almost. Have you accomplished everything that you set out, or has it been more than what you've ever expected?
It's been way more. I mean, if you would have told me, as a kid, this is what I'd be doing, if you'd have told me in the beginning of my senior year of college, even, that this is what I'd be doing, I wouldn't have believed it. I mean, up until probably April, May of my senior year of college, like I was taking the MCAT, applying to med schools, like that was going to be my plan. And then, the whole running thing took off, and I mean, had no sponsorship, no agent, anything out of college. So even to just think that here a decade later that I've been able to accomplish all of this and remain so consistent, I never would have believed that if someone would have told me.
How are you able to get through that time period?
Honestly, like before, a lot of that is just like the community that I've had here. So I knew a couple guys were opening a running store here in Iowa City. They gave me a part-time job and said, hey, like, you're welcome to work as little or as much as you want. You can choose your hours. Like, we want obviously running to be the focus, but know that like the financial aspect of not having any sort of backing, like that's tough. So they were able to, help me out and, be super flexible with everything. And so, it was a big thanks to them, especially that first year when I was kind of trying to make ends meet.
That's awesome, man. Let's talk about some stuff off the track. That's what the people want to know. What are 3 things that people do not know about you?
I'm a really big Harry Potter fan.
Oh boy. Okay.
My dog's name is Neville. So yeah, no, I've always been really into Harry Potter. You know, I've read the books multiple times, seen the movies probably 20 plus times each. So yeah, I love some Harry Potter stuff. Um, both my parents are only children, so I have no aunts, uncles, or cousins. So we have a
Wow.
super small family. Yeah. So it's just my parents, me, my brother, and my sister.
Oh
So we're
boy.
yeah, so super tight knit. You know, I'm really close to my parents, really close to my siblings. So yeah, it's just kind of weird when you see all these people that have, you know, 7, 8 aunts and uncles and dozens of cousins, and I'm like, there's 5 of us.
Yeah, yeah, that's just me. Because I mean, being in the South, um, essentially we field an entire football team, you know, in such a college football team. So you're actually the first person I've ever met that's been like that. That's really cool because of the closeness, because it makes you um closer and stuff. So wow, you learn something new every day. All right. Harry Potter. Have you been to the Harry Potter world down here in Orlando?
I have. So we went in the fall of 2019. So we lucked out and we were able to do it before, you know, all the COVID stuff happened. But yeah, I was able to make it down there with my brother and my sister, and then my partner and her siblings. So it was pretty awesome.
Did you try the butterbeer?
The regular and the frozen, yeah.
Which one is better?
I personally like the regular one, but I think the majority of our group was a fan of the frozen one.
See, I was like, well, I went in May of 2019, so it was blazing. So I like the frozen one, but I was not expecting it to slap like it did, man.
It's good.
Um, what's your favorite ride there?
Oh, definitely the Hagrid one. That one was pretty cool. It's a
Remind
newer.
Go ahead.
It's
Which one was that?
you're on like his like motorcycle, the cart, and it's probably the fastest coaster that they have. It was pretty new when we went there. Like it had just opened up recently, so maybe it wasn't even open in May because we were there in October. And it had just opened up recently.
It had just opened up, and then they just added another one. If I'm not
Oh, I
mistaken, they
didn't
just they just added this epic one.
have to check that out. Get back out there.
Oh man, I cannot remember what it was called, but apparently it's like this high end Harry Potter roller coaster experience that takes you through everything.
That's awesome.
Um, and here's the thing: it had not opened up just yet. It's either one or two things. It had not opened up or it was broken, because I remember there was something in Harry Potter world that was always broken. Um, and that's just the theme with Florida and Universal. There's always a ride that's always doggone broken. And so they used to have a train that takes you from one side to the other.
Yep.
Yeah, that was broken. So I've never been on that train.
It was really cool. It's like super interactive. Like they have a bunch of like stuff in the windows turned into like TV screens, and you like take the whole journey. It's pretty cool.
That is devastating. I've been there 2, 3 times. I've been to Universal too many times, but every time I went to Harry Potter World, it was broken. And it is the stupidest thing in my entire life. So to hear you say that pisses me off. Because everybody said it was like legit. They had a ride. Oh boy. And I don't remember. See, I don't do Harry Potter, but they had this ride. It was like an indoor coaster. It was like an indoor roller coaster that I thought was pretty dope. I forgot what it was, but like the train tracks break or whatever, and
The one
then
inside the bank that they have. Yeah.
yeah, and then like you drop and everything. I thought that was pretty dope though. I'm not
Yeah, they
even
did
gonna
a
lie.
good job with that park. It's pretty awesome.
How accurate is it to um everything that you read in the books?
Pretty accurate. And I mean, they did like a lot of it's based on the movies that there too. So they did a really good job as far as that goes.
What made you get into Harry Potter? Because it seems like you're a fanatic.
I don't know, like just I was in elementary school when the first book came out and just got hooked. So I just remember when all the new books came out, like I would go to Kmart that morning and buy the book and just sit there and just sit there and read it that day. So I don't know, it's just ever since growing up, it's just been
Oh
part of
boy,
everything. Yeah,
Kmart,
Kmart.
man. These young kids don't know anything about Kmart. God, that was, oh man, that brings back good memories. It's so funny. Like all of these, you got all these chain stores now, but there are some OG stores
I know.
back in the day. And so to hear Kmart, that just that's epic. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Wow. That just sent me back on memory lane and stuff like that. I always like to talk food. What is the best food in Iowa? Like if I were visiting Iowa, what is your go-to? Whether it's something you cook or something that you eat consistently, or obviously when you can
Uh,
because of training.
I love to make ribs, so
Oh,
yeah, I'll make some ribs and some cornbread. That's probably my go-to
oh
as far
boy.
as what I'll make. And I mean, Iowa being a big a big farming state, like do that with some corn on the cob. I think that would be a big one.
Man, okay, I was not expecting that answer at all. I was thinking more like, it's kind of chicken and rice dish, but ribs, man,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, I love to grill and make all that kind of stuff. So
That's up my alley. I just made some ribs that I'm not gonna lie, should have been on Food Network for
nice.
4th of July. So hey, I'm all with it. What kind of ribs do you use? Baby backs or St. Louis style or spare ribs or beef
I
ribs?
u- I usually do spare ribs. Um,
Wow. That
I'll do a little St. Louis style too. I like baby back, but they're so thin that
then
it's hard to like they dry out so easy, and I don't
it's
love
not,
doing that.
and it's just if there's too thin, you're just eating skin and bone.
Yeah.
It's essentially a skeleton. Um, because that happened to me Memorial Day or something like that. Got these baby back ribs, and you bite into it, and you're just biting into a bone.
Yep.
And I
It's
was
tough.
like, nah, never cooked a spare rib before. So that's interesting. So
Yeah.
you have like a go-to rub and everything.
Yeah, yeah. So I've got a local rub that I like to use, and yeah.
Now, what do you use if you don't mind me asking? Because
Well,
I go ahead. But
I would
it's not necessarily like all the spices, but does it have a sweeter side to it or more savory?
it's like a sweeter, smoky. Uh,
Oh man,
yeah.
Erik, man, whenever you barbecue again, you got to hit me up
Let's do it.
because I listen. I do make a mean cornbread casserole, so I will
Ooh,
bring
that
that
sounds
up to
good.
Iowa. Yeah, it's a southern style cornbread casserole with the sweet corn and a
Ooh,
kernel corn and everything like that. Man, gosh, I have not had breakfast yet. But man, that's
I'm
making me
getting hungry now. I know.
that's making me hungry. Dang, and everything. Especially they still have ribs. Buy one get one free.
Oh, nice.
So I have to go that. What was it like growing up in the Midwest?
See, for me, it's normal because it's the only thing I've known. I've been here my whole life. So, I mean, compared to you, I mean, we get all 4 seasons. We get like major extremes on both ends. Like, there's a couple times, even when I was in college here, where they like closed the university down because it was so cold. It was like negative 60 degrees plus with the
Oh
wind chill.
boy.
So we've had like it's called a polar vortex. We've had a couple of those the last like decade where everything just shuts down. But then in the summer, I mean, we'll have days where it's 100 plus with 90% humidity and the heat index is like 120. So we get both ends.
That's so stupid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That is so crazy. It's so weird because I have a good friend of mine lives in Minnesota. And so I guess when it was the polar vortex a couple of years ago, it was like negative 80 up there. And I like text her, was like, well, how are you doing today? She's like, oh, it was only -40, so we were able to go outside. I was like, what is wrong with you? Like here in Florida, I love whenever Florida decides to participate in fall. It used to be my favorite when I was in college, because at 68 degrees, you would see people roll out with Uggs and big jackets. Honest gosh, I used to get to school early and sit and watch these people, like the Tom Brady Uggs on and stuff like that, and it would be windy, and so you get like a, I don't know, 63-degree wind chill, whatever the case might be. And so I hear people from the Midwest, and it's like, gosh, that is just, we have to turn on the AC for that. So that's I don't know. I don't think I could have survived. I really wanted to go to Ohio State, but A, out of state tuition is bad. B, it's just too cold where you are. It's just too cold. But the community seems like, you guys seem like the nicest people in the world. I don't know. There's just something, I can't explain it.
No, it's a Midwest hospitality. It's definitely a thing. I mean, go out for a run in the morning and everyone, says, hey, waves at you as you're running by. It's yeah, no, it's a real thing. It's pretty cool.
See, that would be weird to me, but but hey, listen, I'm not mad at it. A couple more topics, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up with a bow. What was it like running anchor on a 4x1? Obviously not in a big meet, but still. What was that like?
Oh man, so I ran the 800 like 30 minutes before that. And I finished, and I know I've been on the circuit for so long that I know a lot of these guys really, really well, even the sprinters. So I see them all like, huddled up with a bunch of agents, like talking, trying to figure something out. And I overhear, well, like, I think Daniel Roberts was supposed to anchor it. He's like, man, like I'm not feeling good. Like I'll take the baton and jog it in, but like, that's all you're going to get from me. So I walked over there and was like, hey, like, if you guys want someone who's going to give you an honest effort, like, I haven't run a 4x1 in probably 20 years, but I'm willing to give it a shot. So yeah, so we we didn't work on any handoffs or anything before that, because those guys had just raced. I just raced. So it was kind of, we went out there, and I took 42 steps to get the baton. Oh. But I mean, when you have a 9.8 guy coming in, and I'm still pretty decent. I mean, I've split 45 high, 46 low on a 4x4 the last couple of years, but that's kind of a different kind of speed. So it was a little stressful, not having done it for a while. But I mean, I've coached a lot of high schoolers the last 6-7 years. So I've like coached handoffs and whatnot. So I had an idea of what I was getting myself into, but it was still kind of stressful in the moment. But it was pretty cool to be able to say that I was on a relay with those three guys.
42 steps. Yeah, that sounds stressful even just hearing it. Have you considered coaching to be the next phase, of what you do?
Yeah, I've thought about it. Great coach. I think regardless of what it is, I want to do something in sports, even in track and field if possible. I've met so many awesome people through the sport. I've had so many great mentors that I'd love to be able to give back, whether that's in the coaching space or something else. But yeah, I'd definitely like to be in that realm.
Looking back on just everything you've done, everything you've accomplished, what is one of the biggest things that you take away from your prestigious and famed career that you've had? Obviously, you're not done yet. Love that hashtag movement that you put on Instagram. But just, as we're talking, just looking back on everything, obviously you said you didn't expect, to have the success that you had, but, what are some of the things that you look back on and you take away the most?
I think one of the biggest things is just not to give up on what you want to do because someone says that you can't do it. I mean, that was a big thing, going from high school to college. Even, my first year in college here, like I had lifted a weight in high school. So I get here and I'm lifting with a broomstick for the first 3 months while I see all these other guys, you know, doing snatches and cleans and that kind of stuff. And like, you know, I was like, hey, like, am I built to do this? And I think it was, you know, just like not giving up on doing something like that just because, you know, you take a different path than maybe the majority of people do. So I think that was, you know, one of the biggest things for me. And then honestly, just like building a community of people, you know, that have your best interests in mind. Like that's been huge for me. You know, I'm still best friends with so many of my high school and college teammates. I've met, like I said, you know, so many awesome people through the sport that are willing to, you know, help out and reach out if I ever need anything. So, you know, that's been a big thing for me too. And that just, you know, just taking advantage of every time that I'm able to, you know, toe the line. I love to compete and I know that it's not going to last forever. So, you know, every time I step out there is, you know, hopefully give myself a chance at some point to, you know, give myself a sniff at winning the race and, you know, just lay it all out there. And that's kind of just the mantra we've taken is, hey, sometime in the race, I want to give myself a chance to win. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, it might not happen, but, you know, when I am able to put it together that, you know, I'm able to do something pretty cool. So.
What is the key to being and staying consistent? Because that's the hardest thing to do in sports, in my opinion, is to stay consistent. And like I said, gosh, I don't think anything is more consistent than the Florida weather or the bipolarness of it, and then Waffle House. And so you've cracked that code. And so what is the key to consistency?
I think for me, like it's just been doing the little things consistently year after year after year after year. You know, being consistent in the weight room, being consistent with my diet and sleeping. And you know, I've got the same warm up routine I've done for the last 15 years. I've got the same routine I do before bed, just a little stretch foam rolling routine. I mean, I've never missed more than 2 days of running from any sort of injury in a row since high school. And I think that it's really just been, being consistent with all these things. And that, something I try to tell, like the high school kids that ask me, it's like, you don't realize that the more you do this day after week after month, that it just really does build on top of each other, that you'll really see the benefits long-term of doing these things consistently, whether it's in your performance or other aspects of training.
Last question, then we'll get to rapid fire, and then we'll wrap this up. What's the biggest piece of advice that you would give to somebody that's coming up in your shoes or kind of coming up in your path, better yet?
Like I said before, I think, consistency in the little things. I think don't be afraid to ask for help or ask for advice if you need it. I had so many great mentors in the sport, from Coach Woody here at Iowa, a lot of 800 guys that I looked up to growing up. I mean, Dwayne Solomon's probably a big one. I still keep in touch with Dwayne. It was, when I was coming up through the sport, he kind of helped me navigate a lot of things. And I've kind of tried to do the same thing, giving back to some of the younger guys now, just knowing that, hey, like, if you don't want to reach out to an agent, if you don't want to reach out to, a shoe company, if you just want some advice from someone who's been through a lot, like, hey, I'm an open book. And, if I don't have the answer, like, hopefully I can point you in the right direction. But I think that, not being afraid to ask for help, because it can be a tricky sport to navigate professionally. So
very, especially now and very pretty much
yeah.
now.
Yep.
And so, yeah, that is a great piece of advice. All right. You have survived the questioning. Now we get to the harder stuff. I am going to introduce a segment to you. It is called Down the Home Stretch. I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions, and I want you to answer them to the best of your ability. If you do not, it is okay. Right now, the champion is Marley Stolliper. She is the clear-cut number one, the standout NC State All-American, followed by Sage Herta and Sinclair Johnson, and they tied for second. And then the bronze medalist is Karen Winger. So pretty much you're trying to beat them or just to get on the medal stand. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
If you had to live with the food forever and live without a food forever, which foods would they be?
If I had to live with a food forever, I would live with pancakes.
Okay.
To live without a food forever. Mayonnaise.
Really?
Yeah.
Why mayonnaise?
I don't know. It's just a condiment that I don't really find myself using very often. So it just gets stuck in the back of the refrigerator. And it's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay.
But pancakes I can eat I can eat that for any meal. So I think that it's pretty versatile.
That's a good one. Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
What's the best meal, breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Breakfast.
Okay. What's the go-to breakfast plate outside of pancakes? You have to pick 3 items.
French toast, scrambled eggs, and sausage.
So you're having pancakes, French toast, scrambled eggs, and sausage?
Let's do it. Carb load.
Hey, listen, that's the key to staying consistent in those 800s. So I'm not even mad at it. Dream vacation spot to take or to go to?
Australia.
Is there, if you had to pick a Harry Potter character to describe who you are as a runner, who are you rolling with?
Neville Longbottom.
Why is that?
He was kind of this nerdy underdog kid growing up, and he ends up being one of the saviors of the wizarding world. So he's kind of a big transition from a kid, to an adult, and I kind of view myself the same way.
Okay, I'm not even mad at that. I like that. All right. If you had to be a guest on any television show, what would it be?
Survivor.
Really? Why Survivor?
So we used to watch it growing up, and then me, my brother, my partner Bethany, we started watching Survivor from season 1 when COVID first started. So we watched 42 seasons over the course of like 2.5 years.
Oh boy!
And so I've been hooked, and I think that it's really it kind of relates to track. They're really pushing themselves physically and mentally, and I think that it'd be pretty cool to see what I could do in that environment.
Well, you just answered the question I was about to ask. If there was the last TV show you binge watched, but I think that takes the cake. All right, if you had to be a guest on any Food Network television show, what would it be?
Diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Yes, sir. I can definitely see that. All right, if you had to have dinner with, or this case, breakfast with any living person, who would it be?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Really? Why Giannis?
Yeah. So I grew up in Milwaukee.
That's true.
Milwaukee area. And I read his book that came out, and my brother and I just watched his movie the other day, and just kind of seeing what he went through, as a kid, to the success he's had today. I think that it's a pretty cool story, and he seems like a cool guy.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. You pronounced his name with ease.
I'm a big Bucks fan. I've been a big Bucks fan my whole life. So
the Greek freak. Okay.
Greek freak.
Okay. All righty. Well, let's go. We got a couple more. If you had to pick somebody to narrate a race that you're running, who would it be?
Morgan Freeman.
And any pause that I give doesn't count against the time. Here's the thing about that. That would be so good, but I low-key feel like I would fall asleep.
See, but I think it relates to, my career and how I race. Like, you're going to get consistency from him when he's narrating something. That's kind of how I feel.
That's true.
That I've been. That. So maybe if it's a big, a hyped high key event, maybe we do something different. But if it's just something normal, just a documentary type thing, I think that he'd be a solid choice.
Sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Okay. What? Oh boy. Morgan Freeman. Oh God, I just lost track of the question I was going to ask. Okay. What has been your favorite place to race?
There's a small place in Italy called Rovereto. It's kind of like in one of the wine countries in the mountains. It's a smaller competition, but I've probably been there, 7-8 times, and it's kind of staying like this ma and pa type of hotel, and it's homemade Italian food, and espresso after every meal, and it's just kind of I'm not a big city guy, so I like these kind of lower key places where I can kind of hang out and go visit some things. So
there's no better place than those mom and pops home cooking restaurants.
Awesome.
I'm with that 1,000,000,000%. All right, 2 more questions. Let's just say they were going to make a movie about your life, your running career. Who is the actor that you would want to portray your character?
Oh, that's tough. See, I'm not like a big actress person, and my favorite actor, I don't know why, has always been Nicolas Cage. So I'd probably say Nicolas Cage.
That would be very interesting. I would love to see Nicolas Cage as Erik Sowinski. Okay. Yeah, listen, that and he would have to legit run the 800. So
I'd like to see that.
I would love to see that. All right, one more question and a bonus question. What's the best era of television?
Ooh, the late 90s.
The late 90s. So
like me all the old like Nickelodeon TV shows. I remember growing up with all of those, like Global Guts and Legends of the Hidden Temple and all that kind of stuff. Like,
listen, they used to record that stuff here in Orlando, so I was just figure it out was like my show. I'm a big Rugrats brother myself.
Same. Yeah.
That was my show. Hey Arnold. Oh man, I had a show. Shout out to Dr. Hannah Borenstein and Matt Wisner. We actually did a 90s TV show episode on here.
Oh, really? That's
breaking
awesome.
It down. Oh yeah, we are big fanatics. He loves Amanda Bynes and her show. That's so awesome. We talk about all that stuff. All right, last question. Why does kindness matter?
Kindness matters because if everyone was kind to each other, I think the world would be such a better place. I think that if we take everything else away from it, being kind just helps in all aspects of life. I think that that's something I've tried to kind of adopt in everything I do, whether it's on the track or helping kids off the track or anything. I think that if I pass kindness onto someone, that hopefully they're going to reciprocate that to everyone that they interact with, and that hopefully we can solve some issues. So
Erik, you are a scholar and a saint, and you made the medal stand. That was impressive. So you can add that medal to your list of accomplishments and achievements in the world record. Listen, man, I appreciate you taking time to come on the show and chat with me. Where can the people find you? Where can they follow you?
I'm at E Sowinski on all social media, and my last name is Sowinski.
So definitely be sure to check Erik out. Like if you heard in the preview of the show, I just dropped all the places where you can follow me and Lactic Acid. So definitely check that out. Erik, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy life to come on the show and chat with us today. Cannot wait to see what you do in the future. Until next time, peace.